They say podcasts are going to replace books. I don't know about that, but I do think TRS clips will assist your learning process. I've been reading a lot about, are you ready for this?
Yes, please.
Dragons.
Oh.
So dragons are present across every single culture, and I actually got into a few podcasts about dragons. What I figured is, what were dragons? They were reptiles which could fly. There used to be a dinosaur called the pterodactyl, which was exactly that. It was a reptile which could fly.
Right.
They also say that modern day birds have evolved from dinosaurs.
Yes.
Because if you study the trajectory of megafauna, which is the study of ancient animals, they were huge before. And over time, those huge animals died out. Possibly.
They become more efficient.
Yeah, they become more efficient by being smaller.
Yes.
So when you're smaller, you need lesser food. You can move fast. You can save
Absolutely.
yourself more easily.
Absolutely.
They also, I believe it's not a theory. I believe it's proven now that now they've come to realize that the ancient T-Rex, which is the villain in Jurassic Park, actually had feathers. It looks very much. It's not proven.
We've not conclusive. I'm not sure we have conclusive evidence on that. I'm not sure.
Like I've seen these images of like a T-Rex with feathers, etc. But I know that
the raptor definitely has like raptor, which was there. If you remember that scene wherein like it is pursuing the child and it goes back and they are in a fridge, if I'm not wrong. Like the raptor is on the kitchen shelf and it tries to move around and see. So that definitely had feathers or. That definitely had. It also has a cousin, but yeah, more or less they had more elements than what is shown in Jurassic Park. Yes. T-Rex, I'm not sure really.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But there were dinosaurs with feathers.
Yes.
Now maybe they evolved and survived as birds.
Right.
Possibly when those asteroids hit, only the pterodactyls and the flying dinosaurs could have survived. And
absolutely.
Maybe
could
that
could have happened.
Yeah, it's just a possibility.
Yes.
I believe the purpose of feathers is to capture, like kind of make your body more airy and like help you with flight, if I'm not mistaken.
Multiple things possibly again. One is camouflage.
Camouflage, okay.
Second is also probably the wings also give you, as you rightly said, if it's depending on the season or where it is from, it could be a woolen blanket across you. Third is also aviation. The design is absolutely like helpful when you flap, hold the air. Yes.
Gotcha. So here's what I've found fascinating about this whole angle. If you eat chicken, you'll chew, say, a leg piece. I'm vegetarian now, but I've eaten a lot of chicken and partridge and all that in my life. You'll chew the leg piece. Finally, you reach the bone, which is also chewable. Because the bones of birds are hollow. And hollow bones deteriorate a lot over time. So even if there have been dragons in the past, it's very likely that for the sake of flight, they had hollow bones. Because I think that's what they figured about pterodactyls, which were the flying dinosaurs, that they all had hollow bones, which are in very bad condition now. Of course, they died out, they went extinct.
Yes.
But I think most birds have hollow bones, including ostriches and emus.
Yes.
They're not meant to survive over the course of time. Why do so many cultures talk about dragons all over the world? Could they have actually been there in different forms, these flying reptiles? Because we also know, and zoologists acknowledge this, that 99% of all animals that the earth has ever known have now gone extinct. What we know about all the animals that exist around with us are only 1% of all the animals that have ever existed. The lions, the tigers, bears, cheetahs, emus, ostriches, you name it, piranhas. It's a very small fraction of what has existed in the past. I don't think it's a coincidence that so many cultures all over the world, from European to African to Chinese to the Americas, there has to have been some truth about dragons.
Again, our folklores, whether it's from China, whether it's from British, the British folklores that we have, whether even in Africa, even Indian, we would see some temples having, a dragon-like, representation. Now, again, it's open to interpretation, But more or less, they have a similar kind of build. They emit or, breathe out fire and, so this fire could be anything. It could be like, just warm breath. It could be like, the exhaust. Hot air going out. It could be so many things, but even looking at it, I'm trying to look at it scientifically. It is again a possibility. But to support such a big body, you would also need huge wingspan, like as in huge feathers. Everything would be huge, like it. So it would appear to be a very huge animal. There are even today, like there are birds which are huge, and when we look at it, like we are terrified. So imagine a human being who's like 1,500 years back, looks at a bird like that big. Of course, imagination is also, it plays, and you try to magnify what's in your mind. So giving it that fiery, monstrous, or even it could be a very soft bird doing its chores. It could be that. The most important thing is it's also associated with the people who are past. It's also associated with people, even dragons. Like there are different kinds of dragons. Also, that's also another thing. There are varieties of dragons. So that's also very interesting because it gives you. It is not just one species, or species like of dragons. So what I'm trying to draw at is it's a possibility that it could be a giant bunch of birds. Wisdom is also another thing, which is now we talked about symbols and signs. The tortoise, all these are elements like the dragon. Dragon is also associated with wisdom, ancient wisdom, because the lifespan. Now, for a person or for a folklore or for a tradition or for a culture to have that as the centerpiece and to associate it with wisdom or knowledge or depth, there needs to be some element to it. It couldn't be, or it cannot be, or maybe it's more than fiction, I feel. So there could be a possibility that, this also brings us to, again, a very important juncture. Did the ancients know how to fuse beings together?
What?
Yes. What stops? There are scientists, there are researchers who are fusing, elements of like you could borrow the glowing of the frog to, borrow the glowing of the firefly to the frog, the skin of the frog.
Yeah, any organism on this planet is made up of that same unicellular organism, which is an animal cell. That animal cell contains a nucleus, which contains a DNA strand. So you can pull out a piece of the genetics of...
Mix and match, yes.
Yeah.
Mix and match.
So you're saying that they knew genetic engineering?
I don't know, but is it a possibility? Because we have like so many instances, we discussed this earlier, wherein like the head of another animal, it could be purely symbolic. When I want to say, I want the wisdom of the elephant to the richness of, the different tools, to also being a defender and an offender when it comes to need, It could be symbolic, purely symbolic. Or it could be like a totem to inspire a group of people to say, look, get up. Our job here is not done. We need to do more.
Thank you for watching this clip. If you want to learn more about this topic, we've curated a playlist just for you. And here's a link to the whole episode.